Okay, hello. I'm going to make a video on starting up the sound system for Guitar League. It's easier for me to show than it is to explain. So if you want to write things down as I'm going through things, if that works for you, then by all means. So this is how it should look when you arrive. Obviously, come over, first thing is pull off the dust cover and drape it over the wall behind this low wall. I don't know what to call it. And over here, this is to the right of the sound system. You'll see a small sound rack with a few things in it. And the one with the green lights that are on, that's the one that you want to pay attention to. That's called the sequencer. And it's really simple. Okay, there's a button that says start, and you press it. It takes a while for the soundboard to come up. And while it is doing its thing, you might hear some whirring. That's the fans coming up in the in the amplifiers. They're pretty large amplifiers up in the band pit. If you hear a pop, first of all, you shouldn't hear one. But if you do hear a pop, it means that someone turned off the soundboard without muting all the mics. And unfortunately, when we got a bunch of volunteers, that can happen from time to time. Oh, see, there's a pop. Oh, and guess what? It's because of me. I left the wireless. Oh, that's right. It's not going to work because I have to log in. Anyway, that's why it popped, if you heard it. I don't know if you heard it or not. So once it's up and it's lit like this, you go over to this screen, and to the left, it says Admin, Basic, Advanced, Intermediate. You want to press Basic. And guess what? Your password is right there. You don't have to remember it. Basic 5679. You hit the login screen, and you go Basic 5679, apply. And that's what you'll see. And then down here, you'll see this. Hopefully that will be muted properly. And the other thing is that I was playing with this in preparation for this video, and I left that unmuted as well. So, my bad. Anyway, so once you log into Basic, this is what you should see. And what Basic is, it allows you to use the board, but you can't save anything, you can't mess with stuff, and that's going to be really important because I get volunteers to come in and say, who messed with my settings and blah, blah, blah. Well, we're going to eliminate the Guitar League. It's not going to come from you guys, all right? So, the first thing to say is, it looks really complicated, but it isn't. And if for some reason you do everything that I tell you and you're still not hearing something, check this side of the board and make sure there are no lights. Okay, this side of the board, for your purposes, should have no lights. Well, don't mess with that. But from here, really, this is the main speaker array, all right? If that's lit, it doesn't matter what you do over here, you're not going to hear anything. So you need to make sure that that is not lit, okay? So for the most part, you're going to concern yourself with this side of the board. Other than making sure that this is not muted, I would just leave this alone. Now, there are only two things that you have to look for. Right now, the two things are where the guitar is going to get plugged in and the microphone that the presenter is going to use. But right now, those two things are not on the same page. Over here, if I press B, everything that I need for Guitar League, or you need for Guitar League, is now in front of me. You're going to concern yourself with it's called wireless, okay? I'm gonna give you all a wireless mic to use to speak and sing into. It's not the best for singing, but I think it's okay. If you have problems with it, we can talk later and we can figure something else out. And I'm gonna be here the first couple of times anyway, so we can work that out. So you wanna make sure that that is not muted, okay? And then over here, the input for the guitar is choir 3, okay? Choir 3. Want to make sure that that's not lit, okay? Those are the only two things. And then directly in line with them, consider this like your volume control. Same over here, okay? So if you need to turn anyone up or down, I would just deal with this and leave the main alone, all right? And that's it. You really shouldn't have anything more to do than that. Unless you're going to have additional vocalists or additional guitarists for one of your meetings, you'll need to tell me that in advance, and we need to work it out so that we can figure out, where they're going to plug in. Plugging the guitar into the system it's not complicated, but it isn't straightforward either. And I'll explain that in a different video. All right, so when everything is done, you're all done for the evening. First thing you want to do is come over here and make sure it's muted. Mute, mute. Okay? And then you come back to the screen in the upper right-hand corner and it says power down. Hit power down. It'll ask you, do you want to power down? Yes, I do. Hit yes. It's now safe to turn it off. You come back here to the sequencer and you press start one more time and it will go through the sequence of shutting down. And then you put the dust cover back on. All right, so that's how I intend to have you use the soundboard. I'm gonna make another video in a moment about plugging in the guitar.